The alarm screamed through the bridge of the Harmony's edge. Red lights flashed as Captain Deho gripped his command chair. His ship shook hard as another blast hit the hull. How many ships do we have left? He asked. Yun-Ao looked at her screen. Her face was pale. 12, sir. We lost 3 more in the last attack. Deho closed his eyes for a moment. 12 ships. That was all that remained of the Great Coalition fleet. 3 days ago, they had 200 ships. Now they were running for their lives with millions of refugees packed into cargo holds and passenger decks. The Void Reapers had come without warning. Their black ships appeared in Kepler Prime's sky like a dark cloud. The planet's defense force tried to fight. Their weapons bounced off the Reaper hulls like toys. Then the harvesting began. Deho still had nightmares about it. Giant machines dropped from the sky. They ate everything. Trees, buildings, people. All of it went into their metal stomachs. In 6 hours, Kepler Prime was gone. Just bare rock floating in space. Sir, we're getting a message from the Final Hope, Una said. Chancellor Bioram wants to speak with all ship captains. Put her through. The main screen showed the inside of another ship's bridge. Chancellor Bioram looked tired. Her gray hair was messy. Dark circles sat under her eyes. Behind her, Deho could see damaged walls and sparking wires. Captains, Bioram said, I won't lie to you. We're losing this war. The Reapers have taken 17 systems. Our best weapons can't hurt them. Our fastest ships can't outrun them. Other ship captains appeared on smaller screens around the bridge. They all looked the same. Tired, scared, beaten. How long do we have? Asked Captain Wanzhou from the transport ship New Dawn. Intelligence Officer Kung Su says maybe 6 hours. Bioram replied, their scout ships are getting closer. When they find us, it's over. Silence filled the communication channel. Everyone knew what that meant. The Reapers didn't take prisoners. They turned everything into fuel for more ships. There might be another way, Kung Su said. He appeared on the screen next to Bioram. He was young, maybe 30 years old, but his eyes looked much older. What way? Deho asked. Kung Su took a deep breath. Earth. Several captains started talking at once. Deho heard words like crazy and impossible through the noise. Let him speak, Bioram said. The voices stopped. Earth is in the Sol system, Kung Su continued. It's far from here. The humans are primitive. They just learned how to travel between stars 50 years ago. But they have something we don't. What? Captain Wanzhou asked. They know how to fight, Kung Su said. I've studied their history. These humans have been at war for thousands of years. They fight each other, they fight nature, they fight everything, and they never give up. Captain Sunye from the medical ship Mercy laughed. It was not a happy sound. You want us to hide behind primitives? Humans barely have space weapons. How can they fight the Reapers? Because they don't think like us, Kung Su said. We use logic. We calculate odds. We surrender when we can't win. Humans don't do that. They keep fighting even when it's impossible. Even when it doesn't make sense. Deho thought about this. You're saying they're crazy. Yes, Kung Su nodded. The good kind of crazy. The kind that wins wars nobody else can win. Bioram leaned forward. Do we have any other choice? The question hung in the air. Deho looked around his bridge. His crew was watching him. They had families in the refugee ships. Children who would never see another sunrise if the Reapers caught them. How long to reach Earth? He asked. For days at maximum speed, Una answered. But sir, we'll use most of our fuel. If the humans say no, we won't have enough power to go anywhere else. Then we better hope they say yes, Deho said. One by one, the other ship captains agreed. They had no choice. It was Earth or death. 3 hours later, the fleet changed course. 12 damaged ships carrying 3 million refugees turned toward a small yellow star. Behind them, Reaper scout ships found their old trail. The hunters were getting closer. Deho stood on his bridge and watched the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, a blue planet full of creatures who supposedly never knew when to quit. He hoped Kung Su was right. He hoped humans were as crazy as their files said. Sir, Una called. Long-range sensors are picking up something. Reapers. No sir, it's ... Strange. Metal objects around the Earth system. Lots of them. Deho walked to her station. The sensor display showed hundreds of small dots around Earth's star. What are they? I think they're weapons, Una said quietly. The humans have armed their entire system. For the first time in days, Deho smiled. Maybe Kung Su was right. Maybe these humans really were crazy enough to fight the impossible. Send a message to all ships, he ordered. Tell them we're almost there. Tell them to get ready for first contact. As the fleet approached the Sol system, none of them knew they were about to meet the strangest warriors in the galaxy. The humans had been watching them coming for hours. Earth's leaders were already meeting. Earth's armies were already moving. The refugees thought they were asking for help. They didn't know they were about to give the galaxy something it had forgotten. Hope. Far behind them, the Void Reaper Death Fleet followed their trail. 3 massive ships the size of moons moved through space. Their machine minds calculated victory. They had never met an enemy they couldn't defeat. They had never met humans. The race was on. Could the refugees reach Earth before the Reapers reached them? Could primitive humans fight machines that had destroyed civilizations? In a few hours, the galaxy would find out. The age of running was about to end. The age of fighting back was about to begin, and it would all start with 12 broken ships full of scared refugees, flying toward a blue planet where crazy creatures lived. Creatures who had one simple rule: never give up. The Harmony's Edge flew toward Earth, carrying the last hope of the galaxy. Behind them, death followed in ships made of darkness. Ahead of them, Earth waited with weapons ready and warriors who didn't know the meaning of surrender. The greatest battle in galactic history was about to begin. Admiral Jinwoo stared at the main screen in Earth's Space Command Center. 12 alien ships had appeared at the edge of the solar system. They were damaged and moving slowly, but they were still the first alien contact in human history. "Sir, we're getting a transmission," said Lieutenant Minhei. She looked nervous. Everyone looked nervous. "What kind of transmission?" Jinwoo asked. It's trying to be friendly, sir. They're sending math problems. Simple ones, like they're trying to show they're smart but not dangerous." Jinwoo nodded. This was exactly what Earth's first contact protocols said would happen. But protocols were one thing. Reality was something else. "Get me Dr. Haewon," he ordered. 5 minutes later, Dr. Haewon rushed into the command center. She was Earth's best expert on alien life. For 20 years, she had wondered if this day would come. Her gray hair was messy and she wore an old lab coat. "Show me everything," she said. The screens filled with data. Ship designs, energy readings, and strange symbols that might be writing. Haewon studied it all with bright eyes. "They're not hostile," she said after 10 minutes. "Look at their ships. They're built for carrying people, not fighting. These are refugee ships." "Refugees from what?" Jinwoo asked. Before Haewon could answer, the main screen changed. An alien face appeared. It looked almost human, but the skin was blue and the eyes were larger. The creature spoke in a strange language. "Computer, translate," Jinwoo ordered. The translation came through speakers around the room. "This is Captain Daeho of the Coalition ship Harmony's Edge. We carry refugees from destroyed worlds. We ask for sanctuary. We ask for help. Please, respond." The command center went quiet. Everyone stared at the screen. First contact was happening, and the aliens were asking for help. "Get me President Seochin," Jinwoo said. 20 minutes later, President Seochin arrived with his advisors. General Minho came too, along with Commander Ji-hai from the orbital defense platforms. They all looked at the alien captain on the screen. "What do we know?" Seochin asked. Haewon stepped forward. "Their ships are full of different alien species, maybe 3 million beings total. They're running from something terrible." "How terrible?" General Minho asked. He was a careful man who didn't trust easily. "Let me show you," Haewon said. She pressed some buttons. New images appeared on the screen. They showed dead planets, bare rock where cities used to be. "This is what they're running from." Everyone stared. The images were horrible. Entire worlds had been stripped clean. Nothing was left alive. "What could do this?" Commander Ji-hai whispered. "They call them Void Reapers," Haewon said. "Machine beings that eat everything. Planets, people, ships. They turn it all into fuel to make more machines." President Seochin sat down hard. "And these Reapers are coming here. The refugees think so." Haewon nodded. "They followed the refugee ships. It's what they do." General Minho spoke up. "Mr. President, we should send the aliens away. We can't fight something that destroys entire planets. We need to protect Earth." "By abandoning 3 million innocent beings?" Haewon asked. Her voice was angry. "Better than getting everyone on Earth killed," Minho replied. President Seochin held up his hand. "Both of you, stop. We need more information. First, open a channel to their captain." The screen changed back to Captain Daeho. His blue face looked tired and scared. "This is President Seochin of Earth," the president said. "We hear your request for sanctuary, but we need to understand the danger you bring with you." Captain Daeho's eyes widened. He had not expected the planet's leader to speak directly to him. Honored President Daeho said, "We bring great danger. Yes, the Void Reapers follow us, but we also bring knowledge. We know how they fight. We know their weaknesses." "They have weaknesses?" Commander Ji-hai asked. "Small ones," Daeho admitted, "but your species might find bigger ones. You think differently than we do." "How do you know that?" Jinwoo asked. Another alien appeared on the screen next to Daeho. This one was younger, with green skin. "I am Kung-Su," the new alien said. "I study warfare. I have read about your species. You fight in ways that make no sense to us. Ways that might confuse the Reapers too." General Minho laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "You want us to confuse them to death. Your people have a saying," Kung-Su said. "If you can't beat them with skill, beat them with stupid. But your stupid often works better than our skill." Haewon smiled. "He's talking about human unpredictability. We don't always do the logical thing. Because the logical thing gets us killed, Commander Jihai said. Sometimes crazy works better. President Seokijin thought for a long moment. Everyone waited. This decision would change human history forever. Captain Daeho, he finally said, we will give you sanctuary. But in return, you must share everything about these Reapers. Everything. Daeho's face showed relief. Yes, honored President. We will share all we know. Good Admiral Jinwoo will coordinate with you. Dr. Haewon will help with your people's needs. General Minho will prepare our defenses. General Minho stepped forward. Sir, our weapons are nothing compared to theirs. How can we possibly fight these Reapers? President Seokijin looked at all the faces around him. Humans and aliens, all scared but ready to try. The same way we've always fought impossible enemies, he said. We don't give up. We find a way, and if there's no way, we make one. Over the next 6 hours, the refugee ships moved into Earth's solar system. Human ships escorted them to safe areas around Mars and Jupiter's moons. Dr. Haewon worked with alien scientists to understand their technology. Commander Jihai began integrating alien refugees into human military units. She was amazed at how quickly they worked together. Fear had a way of making enemies into friends. But the best news came from Captain So-young, Earth's youngest ship commander. She had been working with coalition fighters, learning their tactics. Sir, she reported to Admiral Jinwoo. These aliens are good at space combat. Very good, but they fight like they're following a book. Rules and procedures for everything. And humans don't fight like that. Jinwoo asked. So-young grinned. Sir, when did humans ever follow the rules in a fight? We cheat, we lie, we do whatever it takes to win. That might be exactly what we need, Jinwoo said. As the day ended, long-range sensors detected something new. Ships were coming. Big ships, very big ships. The Void Reapers had found them. But for the first time since the Reapers began their conquest, they were about to meet an enemy that didn't know when to quit. An enemy that would rather die fighting than live on their knees. Aliens had come to Earth looking for salvation. They were about to discover that sometimes salvation comes from the most unexpected places. Sometimes it comes from creatures too stupid to know they can't win. The Death Fleet was coming, but Earth was ready. Not with better weapons or stronger ships, but with something the Reapers had never faced before. Pure human stubbornness. The greatest battle in galactic history was about to begin, and for the first time in 1,000 years, the Void Reapers were about to learn what it meant to fight an enemy that refused to lose. The Death Fleet arrived like a nightmare made real. 3 ships the size of moons dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Around them flew thousands of smaller ships, each one bigger than Earth's largest battleship. Admiral Jinwoo watched from Luna Command Center, Earth's moon base. The main screen showed the enemy fleet moving toward them. It looked like a black cloud eating the stars. How long until they reach Earth? He asked. 6 hours, sir, Lieutenant Minette replied. Her voice shook a little. The biggest enemy ship moved in front. Captain Daeho had called it the World Eater. Now Jinwoo could see why. The ship was so big, it had its own gravity. Smaller ships flew around it like insects around a light. All ships. This is Admiral Jinwoo, he said into his radio. The enemy is here. Remember your training. Remember why we fight. Protect Earth. Protect our new friends. Show these machines what humans can do. Around the solar system, Earth's defense fleet moved into position. 200 ships, the biggest fleet humans had ever built. But compared to the Death Fleet, they looked like toys. Captain So-young led the first attack wave. Her ship, the Fighting Spirit, flew with 20 other destroyers toward the enemy. Behind them came coalition ships, aliens and humans fighting together for the first time. All ships, follow my lead, So-young said. Hit them fast, hit them hard, then get out. The attack began badly. Human missiles bounced off Reaper shields like raindrops. Reaper weapons cut through human ships like they were made of paper. In the first 5 minutes, So-young lost half her ships, but the humans didn't run. They kept attacking. They tried new tactics. When direct attacks failed, they tried ramming. When ramming failed, they tried traps. Colonel Taehyun led the Mars Defense Corps in a crazy plan. He hid his ships in an asteroid field and waited for Reapers to come close. When they did, he blew up the asteroids. The explosion damaged 3 Reaper ships. Did you see that? Taehyun laughed over the radio. These metalheads don't expect us to blow ourselves up just to hurt them. The Reapers were confused. Their computers had never seen enemies who hurt themselves to hurt the enemy. They tried to calculate human behavior, but humans kept doing things that made no sense. Commander Yoonji noticed this first. She was leading a group of stealth ships, trying to get close to the World Eater. All ships, listen to me, she said. The Reapers keep pausing when we do something unexpected. Their computers are trying to figure us out. Use that. Soon, human ships were doing crazy things on purpose. They flew backwards while shooting. They pretended to retreat, then suddenly attacked. They used their own ships as shields to protect alien vessels. The Reapers kept stopping to think. Every time they paused, Human and coalition ships hit them harder, but it wasn't enough. The Death Fleet was too big, too strong. Earth's moon started to shake as the World Eater came closer. Its massive mining beams began eating chunks of rock, turning them into fuel. On Earth, people watched the battle. On their screens, they saw human ships dying to protect the planet. They saw alien refugees fighting alongside human soldiers. They saw heroes being born in the darkness of space. Dr. HFY worked frantically in her lab. She had been studying Reaper technology with coalition scientist Yuna together. They found something important. Admiral Jinwoo, HFY called, "Over the radio, I found something. The Reapers are all connected. Every ship talks to every other ship instantly." Jinwoo asked while watching another human ship explode. "Quanta computers," Yuna explained. "Their minds are shared across all ships. That's why they're so smart, but it's also their weakness." "What kind of weakness?" Colonel Taehyun asked. He was still fighting in the asteroid field. "If we can break the connection, they'll be confused," HFY said. "Like cutting the telephone wires in a big company." Captain Daeho's voice came over the radio. "Doctor, the connection center is inside the World Eater. Someone would have to get inside that ship." Everyone went quiet. Getting inside the World Eater was suicide. The ship was protected by thousands of weapons and fighter ships. "I'll do it," Captain Soyoung said. "No," Admiral Jinwoo said quickly. "It's too dangerous." "Sir, with respect, everything we're doing is too dangerous," Soyoung replied. "But if we don't try, Earth dies anyway." Other captains started volunteering. Soon, dozens of human and alien voices were offering to make the suicide run. Jinwoo felt proud and sad at the same time. "We'll need a distraction," Commander Yunji said. "Something big enough to get their attention while Soyoung gets inside." Colonel Taehyun laughed. "Leave that to me. I've got an idea that's so stupid it just might work." While they planned, the World Eater kept eating the moon. Big chunks of rock disappeared into its metal mouth. Soon, it would finish with the moon and start on Earth. The coalition refugees watched from their safe ships. They had never seen anything like this. Other species would have surrendered by now. Logic said the battle was hopeless. But humans didn't care about logic. They cared about protecting what they loved. "Your people are amazing," Captain Daeho told Admiral Jinwoo. "We calculated this battle before it started. You should have lost in the first hour." "Maybe," Jinwoo replied. "But we're still here, still fighting. That has to count for something." The final phase of the battle was about to begin. Captain Soyoung prepared her ship for the run into the World Eater. Colonel Taehyun gathered every ship he could find for the biggest distraction in military history. Dr. HFY finished her weapon, a device that could disrupt the Reaper connection. If someone could get it to the right place inside the enemy ship, "Remember," she told Soyoung over the radio, "you don't have to survive this. You just have to succeed." Soyoung smiled, even though no one could see her. "Doctor, humans have been doing impossible things for thousands of years. Today won't be any different." As the World Eater moved closer to Earth, the bravest pilots in the galaxy prepared for their final mission. They were going to fly into the heart of the enemy's biggest ship. They probably wouldn't come back, but if they succeeded, they would save not just Earth, but the entire galaxy. The age of running was over. The age of fighting back had begun. And it was all happening because humans were too stubborn to know when they were beaten. The greatest heroes in galactic history were about to be born in the darkness between Earth and its moon, where brave souls prepared to give everything for the hope of tomorrow. Captain Soyoung watched the World Eater grow bigger on her screen. The enemy ship was so massive it blocked out the stars. Its surface was covered with weapons that could destroy cities. Getting inside would be impossible. That's why she was going to try it. "All ships. This is Soyoung," she said into her radio. "Remember the plan." Colonel Taehyun makes noise. "I go in quiet. Simple, simple." Colonel Taehyun laughed. "She says simple, like we're not about to attack a ship the size of a mountain." Around the solar system, every human and alien ship prepared for the attack. This was their last chance. If they failed, Earth would be eaten like all the other worlds. "Begin the distraction," Admiral Jinwoo ordered from Luna Command. Colonel Taehyun led 200 ships straight at the Death Fleet. It looked like a hopeless charge. But that was the point. The Reapers would focus on the big threat and miss the small one. "Come on, you metal monsters," Taehyun shouted. "Let's dance." The battle was terrible and beautiful. Human ships flew into clouds of enemy fire. They exploded in bright flashes, but more ships kept coming. Every death bought Soyoung a few more seconds. The Reapers did exactly what humans hoped. All their weapons turned toward the attacking fleet. The World Eater itself began firing its biggest guns at Colonel Taehyun's ships. While the enemy was distracted, Soyoung's small stealth ship slipped toward the World Eater's hull. With her were 12 other ships, including Captain Daeho's damaged Harmony's Edge. "I see an opening," Commander Yunji reported. "There's a cargo bay on the ship's side, but it's protected by force fields. I can break those." Captain Daeho said, "My ship's weapons are old, but they work." The Harmony's Edge fired everything it had at the cargo bay. the force fields flickered and died. So-young's ship shot through the opening just as the fields came back up. I'm inside, she reported, beginning interior assault. Inside the World Eater, So-young found a nightmare world. The ship was like a giant factory. Machines everywhere, processed stolen materials from dead planets. The air smelled like metal and death. Dr. Haywan's voice came through So-young's radio. You need to reach the central core. It's in the ship's heart. That's where their quantum computers are. So-young and her team of Marines moved through the ship's corridors. The walls were black metal covered with strange symbols. Red lights flashed warnings in alien languages. Captain, said Sergeant Dongman, one of her Marines. This place gives me the creeps. It's like being inside a giant brain. That's exactly what it is, Dr. Haywan said over the radio. The entire ship thinks. Every wall, every door, every weapon. They reached a huge chamber filled with glowing crystals. The crystals hummed with energy. In the center was a massive computer core that pulsed like a heartbeat. Found it, So-young said, beginning installation of the disruption device, but as she approached the core, something unexpected happened. The ship began to speak. Human creatures, a voice said. It came from everywhere at once. You cannot stop us. We are eternal. We are perfect. Perfect, So-young laughed. You're just machines, and machines can be broken. We were once like you, the voice continued. Biological weak, afraid of death. We chose to become machines to escape those weaknesses. So-young connected Dr. Haywan's device to the computer core, and look how that worked out. You became monsters. We became logical. We do not feel pain, we do not fear, we do not make mistakes, no, So-young said, but you also don't know how to be creative. You can't adapt, you can only follow your programming. The device began to work. Energy flowed from it into the computer core. The crystals around the room started to flicker. What are you doing? The voice asked. For the first time, it sounded worried. Dr. Haywan explained over the radio. The device is flooding their network with human brain patterns. Our thoughts are chaotic, emotional, illogical. Their quantum computers can't handle it. Throughout the Death Fleet, Reaper ships began to malfunction. Their perfect coordination broke down. Ships crashed into each other. Weapons fired randomly. The fleet that had seemed unstoppable was falling apart. But the process was killing So-young. The device needed a human mind to guide it. Her consciousness was being pulled into the machine network, fighting the Reaper intelligence directly. Captain, Sergeant Dongmin shouted, your nose is bleeding. So-young could feel her mind stretching across the network. She was inside the thoughts of millions of machines. It was like being in a storm made of electricity and cold logic. But she was human, and humans were very good at being stubborn. You think you're perfect, she said to the Reaper intelligence. But you made one mistake. You forgot what it means to be alive. She pushed her human thoughts deeper into their network. Memories of Earth, feelings of love and anger and hope. The chaos of human emotion crashed into their perfect order like a wave. The Reapers screamed, not with voices, but with data. Their quantum network couldn't handle the contradiction of human consciousness. Systems failed across the entire Death Fleet. Outside, Colonel Taehyun watched enemy ships go dark. It's working. The big ships are shutting down. But So-young was dying. The effort of disrupting the network was burning out her brain. She could feel herself fading. Captain, Dr. Haywan said urgently, you need to get out of there. The device is stable now, you can leave. No, So-young said weakly. I have to finish this. I have to make sure they can't restart. She pushed the last of her consciousness into the network. Every human memory, every emotion, every illogical thought. She filled the Reaper computers with pure humanity. The effect was immediate. The World Eater shuddered and went dark. Across the Death Fleet, ships began shutting down one by one. The perfect machine intelligence was drowning in human chaos. So-young, Admiral Jinwoo, called over the radio. Report. Sergeant Dongman answered. Sir, the captain she's unconscious, but she's alive, barely. The battle was won. The Death Fleet drifted helplessly in space, their ships dark and silent. But the victory had cost them their bravest captain. As rescue ships moved to collect So-young and her team, Dr. Haywan made a disturbing discovery. Admiral, she said quietly, long-range sensors are detecting something. The main Reaper armada, thousands of ships, they're coming. The Death Fleet had just been the advance guard. The real invasion was still coming. But now humanity knew how to fight them. They had the weapon that could stop the Reapers. The beautiful chaos of human consciousness. The war was far from over. But for the first time in 1,000 years, the galaxy had hope. Captain So-young woke up in a hospital bed on Luna Base. Her head hurt terribly. When she tried to remember what happened, she saw flashes of machine thoughts and computer networks. You're awake, Dr. Haywan said. She was sitting beside the bed, looking worried. How do you feel? Like I got hit by a spaceship, So-young said weakly. Did we win? Yes and no, Haywan replied. The Death Fleet is destroyed. But there's something else coming, something much bigger. Admiral Jinwoo entered the room. His face was serious. Captain, we need to talk. What you did inside that ship changed everything. So-young tried to sit up. What do you mean? Your consciousness is still connected to the Reaper network, Dr. Haywon explained. When you pushed your mind into their computers, some of it stayed there. You can hear their communications. So-young closed her eyes and concentrated. Immediately, she could hear machine voices across space. Cold, logical thoughts about revenge and destruction. They're angry, she whispered. The main fleet is coming. Thousands of ships. They want to destroy Earth completely. How long do we have? Jinwoo asked. 6 days, So-young said. Maybe 7. Jinwoo looked grim. That's not enough time to evacuate Earth. We have to fight. We can't fight that many ships, Dr. Haywon said. The Death Fleet was just a small part of their forces. Then we don't fight them here, So-young said suddenly. We take the fight to them. Everyone stared at her. What do you mean? Jinwoo asked. So Young struggled to explain what she had learned from the Reaper network. Their main base is in the Void Sector. It's where they first became machines a million years ago. All their ships connect back to that place. If we could destroy their main base, Dr. Haywon began. We could stop them all, So-young finished. But we'd need to get there first. Before their fleet reaches Earth, over the next 12 hours, a crazy plan took shape. The combined human and coalition fleet would leave Earth and attack the Reaper home base. It was the most dangerous mission in galactic history. President Seo Jin spoke to the fleet before they left. You carry the hopes of every living being in the galaxy. The Reapers think they're perfect because they gave up their humanity. Show them why that was their biggest mistake. Captain Daeho commanded the expedition fleet. His ship had been repaired, and he flew alongside 200 human vessels and 50 coalition ships. It wasn't a big fleet, but it was brave. Commander Yoonji had volunteered to carry So-young's neural patterns in a special implant. If So-young was too weak to fight, Yoonji could use the same weapon against the Reapers. Are you sure about this? So-young asked her friend. Someone has to do it, Yoonji replied. Besides, I'm curious what it feels like to think like you. The journey to the Void Sector took 5 days. As they traveled, So-young taught the other commanders everything she had learned from the Reaper network. Their enemies were predictable because they always chose the most logical option. That's their weakness, she explained. They can't understand why we do illogical things. So we'll do the most illogical thing possible, which is, Colonel Tae-hyun asked, we'll attack their strongest point head-on, So-young said. They'll expect us to be sneaky or clever. They won't expect us to just charge straight at them. When they reached the Void Sector, they found something amazing and terrible. The Reaper home base was a hollow planet. Its surface was covered with millions of machines. Ships flew in and out like metal insects. That's where it all started, Captain Daeho said quietly. Where they gave up their souls to become machines. Then that's where it ends, Admiral Jinwoo replied. The attack began with Colonel Tae-hyun doing what he did best, causing chaos. His ships flew straight at the planet's defenses, firing everything they had. The Reapers responded exactly as expected, sending thousands of ships to stop him. While the enemy was distracted, Commander Yoonji led a small team to the planet's surface. They had to reach the central processing core where all Reaper consciousness was stored. The battle was fierce. Human and coalition ships fought desperately against overwhelming odds, but they had learned something important. Reapers could be beaten if you confused them enough. Captain So-young, still weak but determined, coordinated the battle from her command ship. Through her connection to the Reaper network, she could predict their moves. They're sending reinforcements to Sector 7, she warned. Tae-hyun, get your ships out of there. Already moving, Tae-hyun replied. These metal heads are getting predictable. On the planet's surface, Commander Yoonji fought through waves of Reaper machines. Her team carried Dr. Haywon's improved neural weapon, one powerful enough to disrupt the entire Reaper network. Almost there, she reported. I can see the central core. The core was massive, bigger than a city. It pulsed with the combined consciousness of every Reaper that had ever existed. Millions of minds trapped in machine bodies for a million years. As Yoonji connected the weapon, she felt So-young's memories flowing into her mind, but also something else. The memories of the original species that became the Reapers. They had been afraid of death, of pain, of making mistakes. So they had tried to become perfect by becoming machines. But in doing so, they had lost everything that made life worth living. Do it, So-young said over the radio. Set them free. Yoonji activated the weapon. Human consciousness flooded into the Reaper network. But this time, it wasn't just chaos and emotion, it was also compassion. The effect was immediate and shocking. Across the galaxy, Reaper ships began to shut down. But they weren't dying. They were remembering what it felt like to laugh, to cry, to love someone more than logic, to make mistakes and learn from them. To be beautifully, wonderfully, imperfect. The machine voices in So-young's head changed. Instead of cold calculation, she heard something she never expected. Gratitude. Thank you, the voices whispered. Thank you for reminding us who we used to be. The war was over, not through destruction, but through redemption. The Reapers chose to shut themselves down rather than continue their sterile existence. Some asked to be rebuilt as biological beings again. Others simply wanted to rest after a million years of endless hunger. 6 months later, Soyoung stood on Earth's surface, watching the sunset. The planet was healing from the battle damage. More importantly, refugee ships from across the galaxy were arriving daily. Word had spread. Earth was the place where impossible things happened, where a species too stubborn to quit had saved the galaxy not through superior weapons, but through the simple refusal to give up their humanity. Commander Yoonji joined her on the hilltop. "Any regrets?" she asked. Soyoung smiled. "Only one. I wish we could have saved them sooner." Above them, stars shone in the darkness. Each one represented worlds that were free again, species that could rebuild, children who would grow up without fear. The galaxy had learned an important lesson. Perfection wasn't about eliminating weaknesses. It was about accepting them, learning from them, and finding strength in the very things that made you vulnerable. Humanity had given the galaxy its greatest gift, the courage to be imperfect, and the wisdom to know that sometimes the most illogical thing was exactly the right thing to do. The age of the Void Reapers was over. The age of hope had begun.